this motion, we all know that that's a male,
Right.
masturbating. There's no motion like that for women masturbating.
I think it's a really mysterious thing.
I think it's also really ignored.
Yeah, I think
I don't know
people.
what society thinks about women masturbating.
And even the way I'm not coming out and saying the words right now is like what we're growing up with.
Right.
How often do you ever hear any
Right,
reference to
exactly.
women masturbating at all?
You don't.
You just don't.
Masturbate!
My mom was actually really open about masturbation, which is pretty uncommon from what I'm finding out.
Like, I think it comes up with people when they have little kids who discover that it feels good to touch themselves,
Right.
and then they have to bring it up in the context of, there's nothing wrong with touching yourself.
I was pretty old when I was. I didn't, like, I did see it as, I don't want to touch down there,
I was like maybe 4. I was really little.
You're so lucky. I think
You're
you're
so lucky.
I do.
Yeah, I'm an expert at it now.
If I didn't read about it, I would have never tried it. Where some kids just do it. I don't know how. They just figure it out or just explore, and I was not like that at all.
I would feel things, being as a kid in like a jungle gym or something. Like I remember climbing a rope once and like they're touching me there and I was like, whoa, what is that,
We were playing this game where like we tied each other up and one
Really?
one was like a bad, we didn't do anything
Wait, with a
sexual
girl or
with
with
each other. A girl. We didn't do anything sexual, but I remember it turning me on. Because I was a horny little kid.
And I was like lying down in the back seat or something like that, and she was driving, and like I was under a cover or something, and I just go so badly that I put my hand down there to like hold it in, and then it just like happened, and I was like, what's happening?
What was that?
And I did still feel guilty about it, and I still, like, I remember being a kid and trying to quit at some point.
Bad habit.
Yeah, I sort of saw it like that.
Why did I have that disgust when I was a kid? I don't know. It's just, no one probably ever said it. It was just like ingrained in our society. Who knows if it was religious or whatever that it started, but maybe because it's not talked about.
I think we should come up with gestures and words and start spreading it.
But
like,
see, the thing is that we
in
couldn't
hidden
even because
channels, like subliminal
but
messages.
with women, it wouldn't be one motion like that. Because what you're saying is you have a friend who does it like that.
That, a friend
then
who does
someone who
and
does it
someone
like
who do it with
this.
their legs spread and their knees bent, and someone
it's
do it
like,
on their
so
stomach.
it's so
and
different.
I mean, masturbation was kind of like a joke word. And in my memory, things get confused about what you learn from your peers and what your
Right.
peers said right after the sex ed classes.
I remember that she talked about masturbation and girls, and that to me was a shock. Because, I didn't start masturbating when I was 9 or 4. I didn't become an expert when I was 9. I didn't know that girls could do that.
There's also the, well, what do you do to yourself?
Yeah.
There's
Like,
that
how
whole-
does it work? Like, we would need a replacement for the penis or
Exactly.
something.
I felt like masturbation was okay, but I sort of thought I was doing it wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Putting something inside.
Right.
Tons of women, like more than half, don't have orgasms through having intercourse with no sort of
Right.
clitoral stimulation.
Right.
So
When little kids are like, what is sex? The answer is,
Right.
this.
Right.
And so I knew.
Right, I knew
this,
that too.
I
I think I didn't know
And
what
then-
an orgasm was for a long time. Like I think that when I was younger and in junior high or something, I don't think I knew what an orgasm was.
Oh.
Did you have an orgasm then?
No,
Okay.
not until like high school when I discovered my clitoris, and then I did, and then I was like, oh, that's what everybody's talking about.
But I knew, the clitoral area was where it was, and but thinking, okay, something electrical is maybe gonna like expedite this a little faster.
You have a lot more control.
With a vibrator?
Well, I don't know, because I've never had an orgasm without a vibrator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I know I have a lot. I mean, I know I can do whatever. I mean, I can control it.
And it kind of like showed me, the speed that I wanted, the pressure that I wanted, like that kind of thing that I didn't really know how to do without. I don't know. It was weird. And then I didn't use it anymore. And
I mean, I masturbated with my hands before. I'd get to wonderful places. I just never actually had an orgasm.
I think it would be interesting to be with a partner and use a vibrator.
I don't know. I'm somehow not into implements.
No?
Battery operated or not, I'm just not into implements.
I am sort of curious, but I'm kind of afraid to try.
Why? Do you think it'll prevent you from having?
Well, I like the fact that I can have orgasms with just my hand and, with a partner, and that there's no other necessary
between you
materials.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
I've moved around and they've broken and I just haven't had the to get them. I didn't break them. I didn't.
Anyway, because sometimes the urge just hits me, whatever. Doesn't take that long.
I'll masturbate more like if I'm really stressed about things, or sometimes if I'm like tired and I just want like a peaceful, relaxing sleep, I will. And definitely more if I'm not dating someone.
I think I might masturbate less frequently if I'm having sex. I mean, I don't know. If I was having sex every day, I don't know that I would masturbate. I don't know that I'd have time.
If I'm having a lot of sex, I'll feel satisfied. If I'm masturbating a lot, I never really feel satisfied.
Yeah.
There's just something
It's just not
missing.
sex.
Like if I'm in a sexual relationship with someone on a regular basis, I don't really masturbate.
It's never out of this world, the passion that I can get with a man.
But it's usually fairly fast. It's definitely faster for me to come by myself than with a partner.
Aha! See, it's the opposite with me.
Fine, I'll tell you something. I find that people are much more willing to talk about the physical,
Than the
other
fantasies they
stories,
have?
and they're much less willing
to talk
to
about
talk
their
about their
fantasies.
fantasies.
By myself, it's always just a zone. I'm like off in another world, kind of thinking of my ideal situation of things.
There's times when I want to masturbate, but I don't know. I start getting so into my fantasy that I get distracted.
I mean, sometimes I don't fantasize at all. Sometimes
Right.
I'm watching television. You know what I mean? I mean,
Really?
yeah,
And you can focus.
yeah.
Well,
I think I'm thinking about myself the whole time. Like, I think I'm turning myself on
Oh.
because,
Yeah, I guess.
like, I'm touching myself, and then that is turning me on, and it's sort of like this circular thing, but it's all about me.
Definitely a more cozier, kind of discreet little moment with yourself,
Definitely, like to know your own body and
And to be comfortable with yourself.
right.
And what feels good to you.
Right.
because-
How are you gonna be with someone and
Right.
be able to tell them what feels good if you don't even know?
Right.
Because I think it really is having control of your own sexuality.
Yeah.
And it is knowing what you want, and then knowing
And
that
being able
this
to
is
give
what
it to
I
yourself.
yeah, give it to yourself, and then and then demanding that, requesting that of your and expecting that of your partner.
Right.
I think it is important that women masturbate because I think it's really, in a way, it's empowering that you know about your body and that,
And that you're self-sufficient.
yeah, there you go.